Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition. But this time it's not the Dak Cohen podcast. This is a whole new podcast that I told you guys I've been in the works for quite some time. If you've been listening into my other podcast, I've had this special honor of putting this project that has been into play. We've been kind of teetering with the idea for some time, but we never knew if it was going to be for certain or not yet. But with that being said, we are here live today, and here's the big project reveal. The big project reveal is I am doing another podcast with someone. You may be asking, who is this other individual? Well, it's a good friend of mine that I've known for quite some time. His name is Oliver.
Hello,
Welcome,
everyone.
Oliver. How are you?
I'm doing all right today. I'm glad to be on this podcast. I'm excited to start it. I am new to podcasting, so it'll be fun to do this with you. I'm starting new.
All right. Well, yeah. So go ahead, give us a little background of who you are and
Yeah. So
how.
my name is Oliver. I've been friends with Dak for about, I want to say, 7 or 8 years now. The reason why Dak brought me onto this project is I've recently taken a liking to talking about sports, and I've done it with Dak for a while now. But I figured I bring it up here. I would say I'm a huge fan of the Portland Trailblazers.
Mm,
I am a fan for football. I am a fan of the San Francisco 49ers. They
okay.
have been going through a lot recently, but I think we got it next year. And I would say I also do watch a little bit of other stuff. I am technically an Oregon Duck because I am admitted
Yeah,
to the
let's go.
college.
Yes.
So I'm obligated to talk about college level sports now. So yeah, this is more of like Dak will talk about something, and it's a 2v2 thing, I guess, or
So
a
far, so
two
on.
people thing.
Yeah. What was it like? Because there was a certain period of time where we kind of had not talked to or seen each other in a long time. Because
It was
college was that conflicting.
well, yeah, I mean, we graduated high school the same year, and due to that, just naturally, we kind of forced to split. Our lives entirely went different. We didn't see each other every single day at school. And like I said, I went down to Eugene for a couple months, and for just personal reasons, I went back up. I guess it's more financial, but that's besides the point. We recently met up. We went to a couple games in person at the Moda Center,
Yes.
and that's where we decided we're going to start doing this.
Yes, I had this idea just kind of randomly popped in my head one day, and I was like, why don't I try to find another guest for a duo podcast? Because I've listened and also seen like the video versions of it and how they can like flourish in a longer term and can last longer instead of you just sitting behind your own desk doing it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's always better to have another person's point of view, is what I thought would been interesting. And so, the day I hit you up, I'm like, hey, what do you think about this idea? Do you care or what do you think? And you're like, yeah, it could be a new hobby of mine, but if you could show me the tools of how to do it, I would be down. And I said, okay, sure, I'll send you some materials to look at. And you said, I think it was like a week later, I asked again, you know,
Yeah, and I
asked,
said,
took your time, and you said sure.
yeah, like I said, I am new to podcasting, so I will be a little bit honest. I'm not entirely sure what is going to happen because podcasting is just a lot of improv. But listen, if there's going to be roadblocks, but we'll make it through. I'll still make it a good podcast.
All right. Well, I mean, and I might as well give some credit to our friend Tyler.
Tyler.
Shout out to Tyler. He's the one that also I would say kind of played a part, I guess, as well into going to sports games. He's just more in it for the socialization because he had not seen me or you in like over.
Probably since he graduated. Well, maybe not that long, but it's been a while.
It's been a while. I think it's been since probably 24 would be my guess because he's been busy
Yeah.
with work, so that makes sense.
He's got a very stressful job. I know. Sure know about
Yeah.
that.
I mean, the dude makes really good pay. I mean, my God, did you see the seats that he
I
had bought?
did, and
My God,
I'm shocked that he was able to get seats now low. Yeah, Tyler,
that close.
we have tickets to the Hornets game coming
Hornets
up in
game.
about a week, and he
Yes.
managed to get section 100 section double L row, which
Yeah.
that's like
It's very close. So
it's pretty close.
you're behind the basket, and then and we're like a few feet away from the Blazers bench. Quite crazy to think about.
Yeah.
I looked it up yesterday because I had research with Tyler about just ideas of, because I was like, oh, there's for no way for sure that he was gonna actually buy tickets in the 100 row. I thought he would have been just teetering with the idea about it, but eventually go back to like the 200 row, and I wouldn't have. None of us would have to complain because we would still have a good view either way of a good game.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
yeah, go ahead.
this would be our third game of the season as a group, and I've noticed we've just progressively been getting closer and closer, which was good to hear.
Yes, I mean, like we all started. I think it was after like two
This
weeks, maybe after your birthday.
it,
You
it, it was in January. Because I'm trying to let me go back in my brain. We saw the Raptors game.
saw the Raptors
That
game.
was like late January, and then we saw the 76ers game, which was before the All-Star break, and then now next week we're Hornets. Yes.
That
So
70 that 76ers game was amazing.
it was a really good game. Um, I'm glad we went to that. Anyway, should we maybe go on to our topics?
Yes, our first topic of the podcast. So, wonderful listeners. I don't know if you've been keeping up, and at least in the Oregon area, if you live around here. Motive might be under some new changes, and you might be wondering, well, what new changes are you talking about? Well, let me show you. I'll share my screen and show you. The Motive Center is currently in the midst of there's a bill that had recently just passed the Oregon Senate to fund the arena to be rebuilt in some way, shape, or form. And keep in mind, it even hasn't been a year since they added those gigantic screens that we saw, by the way, Oliver,
Mm-hmm.
inside Modus. I don't know why they're considering remodeling it, but I guess from what I've researched and seen is that it is considered the oldest arena in the league in the NBA, which surprised me actually,
Yeah, it surprised me when I learned about that.
because it was built in what 90 about 93 or 95, but the project didn't start until 93 because they were still playing at the Memorial Coliseum at the time, and they had to wait a full year before actually entering Moda to go in and play. So according to this from Channel 2 through ABC, they're saying the Oregon Senate Committee on Rules passed a bill on Thursday that would create the Oregon Arena Fund, laying the groundwork for potential renovation of the Moda Center in Portland. The Moda Center, formerly known as Rose Garden, is the oldest sports arena in the NBA that hasn't gotten a renovation according to the data from Eco Northwest. That is absolutely wild. The data also shows that the arena generates about 670 million in annual regional economic activity. So anybody who's not just the Blazers, since they're attendant there for years and years on end, but I mean, artists, shows, all the above.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, obviously, I think, and I'm sure the article is going to get into this. I would support arena renovations because I would agree the Moda Center has been a very important force in our city, especially in Portland, which, at least compared to other cities in the U.S., isn't particularly that large or a tourist destination. So I know for a fact Blazer games do in fact are like one of the big things that people out of the city tend to go to, and obviously there's the concessions and the other like the stuff surrounding the center like hotels, transit or whatnot. It certain I would agree it does it does do a lot for the city.
The proposed Oregon Arena Fund would relocate existing tax revenue to help pay for renovation for MODA. Okay, I see. So I had read something a little bit about this where they would take any revenue from any artists, the Blazers, and or anyone who's coming to Portland, and say after their show and or games have been done, that would go into the arena fund for taxes instead of it being pulled out of like local taxes, and then people have to vote on it in like during the midterms, I'm assuming, to either say yes we approve of this or no we don't approve of this. They think their plan that they're gonna go with is we're gonna create this arena fund. We're
Mhm.
gonna pour anybody who has performed at MODA this past year or this year coming up, because we're still only in February. March is right around the corner, by the way. That we'll create this arena fund where you pour money in, and that will be considered taxes for the money to go towards the arena fund for the renovation.
Yeah, I
I,
mean, I think there's been worries where the fund would come directly from the regular people, like people who have no interest in the Moda Center. But I think the best case scenario is if it was privately funded, by like Paul Allen's state or whatnot. But I would agree. I think funding it partly by the taxes from the people who use the venue could be effective. I don't really want them to go underwater and taxes, which is why I think they should play it slow in a sense. I'm not really sure about that though. Economics is not really one of my strong suits, I will say.
yeah. I mean, as you can see, according to this article, there's a Republican senator named Kim Thatcher who was the only one that opposed the bill. I guess she didn't really want to give a clear statement why she opposed it, but interesting.
It's probably just, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that it's like city and government interference in the Moda Center. That's
Yeah.
just standard what Republicans believe in.
Yeah. I mean, here's a good quote. I
Hmm.
was gonna I was gonna ask this as a question. Do you think the Blazers will stay in Portland? Because according to this, the NBA has said that the arena needs to be updated in order to keep the Blazers in Portland. The new owner of the franchise hasn't said his stance on it just yet. It is also unclear where what supporters plan to do and try to secure funding if the bill doesn't pass in the short session. But as we know, it passed, so it's probably on its way to getting. Oh, it's on the way to the On Ways and Means Committee, and then based off of that, if it passes, then it goes to Tina Kotek. But based off of just this here, from what the NBA is saying and how the Blazers is right under new ownership from what's his name, Tim Dundon, the owner of the Carolina Hurricanes. A lot of Portlanders kind of have been worried about if the Blazers would ever leave Portland. And I mean, the way I see it, I don't think at this rate Portland's not leaving, especially if it's already in the second stage of getting this whole renovation to happen. I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you think the Blazers would ever leave Portland
No,
under
at
new
least
owner?
not anytime soon. If they were to relocate, it would probably be at least a decade from now, I'd imagine. But I think the support from fans is keeping the team alive. I think just as a team, I feel like the future is bright as just the team itself speaking, although I don't think that has much to do with the like front not front office, but like the business decisions for as a company. But anyway, I think the arena, if this bill were to pass, I think that would solidify that the Blazers staying in Portland for a long time, because it's pretty redundant to renovate an arena just to not really use it. And I would say I think the owners and the NBA, they could probably learn from what happened to the Seattle SuperSonics.
Oh yeah,
There was massive fan outrage. Nowadays I would say has kind of died down. That it has been like over 15 years ago they relocated.
to
But I
Oklahoma,
know
big Grand
Seattle's
Champs.
devastated, and Seattle is still devastated about that. I think the chances are very low, very low.
For the Blues.
And if they were, it's not going to be at least until, yeah, a decade. That's my
Decade. Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, I mean, do we like the? There have also been talks in the NBA and Silver because he had his annual press conference during the All Star break or during the All Star game about expansion. A couple of reporters had asked him about expansion, and he had said that he is looking into it. And in your opinion, do you think the Seattle Supersonics could possibly come back to Seattle after all this time and just yeah, would the city of Seattle be happy to get their basketball team back? Is pretty much what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think really any city that's the subject of an expansion would be happy. I think it would be a more difficult question to say would it be good for the league as a whole, which I would say it would because it would probably bring in more viewers. Obviously the teams would suck going in, so really I think viewership would only be limited to their cities. But I think generally as long as I think it would be a good idea, really. And Seattle would be happy. I'm not sure what that would mean about Portland.
It
Almost I feel like if that were to happen, it would slightly incentivize the move more because Seattle would now be the
mm,
team representing the Pacific Northwest.
West.
Again, and I think the change in odds is minor because like it'd be weird if they did an expansion and then a couple years later they moved a team. I think
Yeah,
that'd be
that's a good
weird.
point. That's a good point. I didn't think about it like that.
So I don't know. I would definitely need to know more about like NBA history on like how expansions have impacted it. But expansion is always nice. I will always welcome new teams to the league.
Another team also being part in talks of the expansion is Las Vegas. Do we see Las Vegas getting a team? Because right now they're in the midst of getting the baseball team, the Athletics, but that move isn't going to happen for a couple of years. And based off of what I've seen with sports teams moving to Vegas, yes, they could win championships, but it takes at least a couple years to do so. So do we think Las Vegas could be part of that conversation too?
Well, I mean, I know Adam Silva has been saying that the two teams up for grabs would be Seattle and Las Vegas. And I would agree. If Seattle comes, Las Vegas would go too. I'm almost certain because otherwise it would be 31 teams in the league, which is odd, and it would screw up the conferences. And I'm sure, I think part of it is also like it's just unsymmetrical. I think people would not like this. Like, one conference has one more team than the other, it wouldn't really pan out well. As for Las Vegas specifically, I know they are relatively dry when it comes to sports. They don't have a basketball team. They don't have a baseball team. They do have the football team, and I don't know how big Las Vegas is off the top of my head, but I know it's a pretty big city. It's bigger than Portland. So I think if anything, there would be more people interested in Las. Well, actually, no. Now that I'm saying it out loud, people would be more interested in Seattle SuperSonics just because it's already existed. But there's a market for a Las Vegas team too, for sure.
And I mean, to go along with that, I mean, there have been talks from what I've seen that for a very long time, LeBron James has been wanting to own an NBA franchise after his retirement, and that Rich Paul, his manager, who owns like Clutch Sports or whatever, has said he would help LeBron furthermore become an NBA owner by selling his whole company. Do I see him owning a Las Vegas team? Sure, but I mean, how would other owners in the league look at him, if he were to own a team?
Well, it's funny you say that because I saw a post. I wouldn't say it's credible by any means, but I saw a post that laid out a scenario where LeBron James, because after the season he's a free agent, he has like three possibilities. He could either retire right then, he could do more years in Las Vegas or not Los Angeles, or go back to the Cavaliers or something like that. But someone brought up a scenario where he comes back for one more year, possibly goes back to his home team town, and he goes to Adam Silver's like, "Hey, I'm gonna announce my retirement right now. My final season, 26-27 season, is gonna be my retirement tour. You can make a bunch of money off of me, my retirement tour, and then in return, you give me some sort of leeway to ownership, which could be the Las Vegas team. And I will say this, when he retires, I do not see a world where LeBron James does not continue being in best in the NBA in some way. He's gonna be in ownership. He could be a coach. He could be a scout. He's gonna stay in the NBA for the rest of his working life. I think that's a guarantee. And I think Las Vegas ownership is a pathway towards that. I don't really see him completely owning the Las Vegas team right out the bat. Like assuming they show up in the like 27-28 season, which is most likely. I don't see him owning the team like right after he retires. But he's probably going to climb the ladder. Maybe one day in several years he'll own a team. I don't know.
I mean, at this rate, LeBron is about 42, 41, 42 years old at this
I think he
age.
turned 41 a couple months ago.
A couple months ago, yeah.
I don't know.
LeBron, it's quite tricky for LeBron too, because LeBron, yes, it could be considered retirement, but if he were to return to Los Angeles would have to give up a significant amount of money to keep him or retain him for just a year.
Yeah, and I mean he's aging. He hasn't. I mean he's still playing pretty. He's playing decent, but I mean he's nowhere near his peak. He
Yeah,
broke the streak a couple months ago, and the Los Angeles is kind of failing. Like I checked the other day. They're now six in the Western Conference. They're
is.
teetering on play-in, which is really sad to see. I mean, I know I know Portland's supposed to be like we're supposed to like Los Angeles is a rivalry, but it is kind of it is sad to see when the most popular and arguably best star in the NBA currently is just going out. It's true that end is near. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely shown regression for the first time in his career for sure. I mean, a big sign was during the All-Star break when he didn't get selected as a captain and he was selected as a reserve. And a lot of people were
No, and
like,
I'm
LeBron's a reserve? For the first time in 20 years, he was a reserve.
I mean, he has the longest NBA career so far.
Yes, true.
Oh, it's, it's not like it could have happened any later. It's impressive that he's been able to play like one of the like an all-star, one of the top 5 in the league for like 20 plus years. I don't think something like that is going to happen for a long time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely for sure. I mean, like you said, you know, the Lakers currently sixth in the West. You know, 34 and 24 wins on the season. They're currently on a 3-game losing streak. And yeah, they're kind of teetering themselves back out into the play in there almost. I mean, the way I see it is with Los Angeles, do we the ownership decide to move on from LeBron James? He hits free agency for the first time, I think, 2019 before he signed with Los Angeles, and he goes and walks over to maybe Cleveland and does his retirement tour there. Or do we just start the building pieces around Luka Doncic? Because Luka, I mean, just barely has any help around him at this rate. And they really should start those assets around him if they want to contend for the long-term future. Because he's Luka currently. How old is Luka currently? Luka's averaging like 32 a game, and oh, okay, he's 27, so he's in his late 20s.
He's like right. He should be like right in the middle, smack dab in the middle of his prime.
Pretty much. It seems like ever since the trade, that infamous trade last year in February,
Oh, the
to
AD trade.
the AD the Lakers trade, it seems like it's been a win for Los Angeles, but at the same time, you gotta start building pieces around around Luka. I mean, like let's look at their starting here. Like let's look at their full roster. The building pieces currently around the Luka are the following: DeAndre Ayton, former Blazer, who's getting paid about $8 million. My goodness. A guy who they recently just traded from the Atlanta Hawks during the trade deadline was Kobe Buffin. Rui Hachimura has been on there, I think, since free agency. Or not free agency. I'm sorry. Since last year in free agency, got Luke Kennard, Maxi Kleba is probably going to end up retiring. Dalton Connect, I could see being a trading piece actually, because I don't see him in the long term plans to build around Luca, unless if they want to, also build around Dalton Connect, but I highly doubt that. They're going to have to let Austin Reeves go. That's how I see it. You're paying a guy $13 million to
Yeah.
I mean, yes, he's averaging 24 this season. You're probably just gonna have to let him walk, to be honest. I mean, and he's 27, and he didn't come in the league until very late. So the way I see it is that they let him walk, and then that frees up like a bunch of money in cap space, and then they could have someone they can that money go towards someone else in free agency. They could actually be a contender for building around Luca.
Yeah, I mean, trading him for someone in the offseason is probably what they're gonna do. I really do not see a world where I mean, I don't think they would re-sign LeBron James. Realistically, that wouldn't make much sense. I guess they could get a lot of eyes if he does his retirement tour there. I think just as a it's not like they're not like full tank mode yet where they're in dire trouble, but they need kind of where they're at. They can't just stay. They need to make some minor moves, even if it's just trading Austin Reeves and keeping Luca and some of the other pieces around.
I mean, right now LeBron's getting 52 million this season. It's absolutely
He's
ridiculous.
Yeah, it makes me wonder like if he does go back to Cleveland Cavaliers, which I would argue is probably one best for him because the Cleveland Cavaliers have actually been really good, especially since the trade deadline. I think it'd be good for the NBA because they can milk a lot of money out of his retirement tour back at home. Might
Right.
also be he's also probably going to be best for him because he'll be at home. I don't know. I've been convincing myself the past couple months that that's probably what's going to happen. I know I keep larping on LeBron James, but I think it would make no sense if he just retires right here.
Do you think he keeps going?
I think he's gonna do an. I do think he's gonna do another year. Like
Okay.
it doesn't really make much sense if he's just staying quiet about it, because it could bring more eyes to the league. It could bring in more money, and I don't know. He seems like the type of guy that would be upfront.
hmm So there'd be a retirement tour in the question for sure. He would
Yeah,
retire
yeah. It's
with
just
a team. It's just
like
which team would that be?
honestly, like if he just if the season ends and LeBron James is like, nah, that's it, I'm done, then I think a lot of people will be pretty damn mad because they would want to see his last game, knowing it's his last game in a sense.
I mean, millions of celebrities, millions of people pay tickets to watch that. Either if that's being at the Crypto.com arena or where the Cavaliers currently play in their stadium. I mean, Cleveland right now this season is a top five team in the Eastern Conference. They're sitting at 37-24 and are on a 2-game losing streak. Do we see the Cleveland Cavaliers making the Eastern Conference Finals?
The Cleveland Cavaliers this year are making the Eastern Conference Finals. I think it's a possibility. I don't think it's the most probable thing. I say that because I think d- one part of it is Detroit's been on fire. They've had the steepest turnaround in the NBA for a
Yes.
long time, and I think unless they get upset by one of the smaller teams, like I don't know, the Raptors, or I'm, I'm kind of dumb. I don't really know the seating off the top of my head, but like the Raptors, or heck, even one of the playing, oh my god, voice crack, playing teams, which I don't know, like Toronto or New York or whatnot. It's not gonna happen. I think Detroit's gonna make the finals. They have Cade, and Cade's been, honestly, he might win MVP just because of everyone else missing
This rate,
time.
probably. I mean, Cade Cunningham this season right now is averaging over 25 a game, 25.4 to be exact, on almost 6 rebounds a game, leading 61st in that, but then also leading second in assist in the NBA at 9.8. It's almost 10 assists per game on 46% shooting. So, I mean, oh man, Detroit definitely struck the gold mine with Cade. I mean, we could even go back to a few years ago when,
Yeah,
they were a
they weren't
laughing
even
stock. They
they
were
weren't even
absolutely
playing
horrible.
eligible.
No, they were absolutely horrible. Like over 2 years ago, and then a 2 year turnaround. You see Kate Cunningham bawling out of his mind, and you're like, well, where did this brother come out from? He just decided to wake up and said, I'm playing Detroit basketball. I mean, if I want to go as far to say this, is that Detroit basketball, the current Detroit Pistons, remind me of the Bad Boy Pistons just a little bit. You could see little inklings of it for sure for
Yeah,
their more recent play, which that was what the Pistons were known for in in the 90s and a little bit into the 2000s. In the Bad Boy Pistons. And just to see that come back slightly after I think like a fight with Victor Wembanyama, you do not want to mess with that guy. Man, that just goes to show that they're wanting to play hard hitting basketball and they'll do whatever it takes to get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
yeah. I mean, it would also be it'd be a good story, just like the team that's just been called a poverty franchise for the past decade plus to make it. Oh, going back to your question about the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, Pistons were here in 2023, by the way. So quite
Yeah,
crazy.
they
'65.
that's a steep turnaround. But yeah, going back to what you said about the Cleveland Cavaliers. Looking at their seeding, they're four, which means they would have to face Detroit if they were to stick four and beat the Raptors. But I do see a world where they jump up past New York because
Mm,
I think New York has been struggling a little bit lately. I haven't been watching their games, but I think they've been. I mean, it's not like they're bad, but I think they've been losing. Like, yeah, you see they've lost, I think, like 4 games in February already,
yeah,
which broke a big streak.
so they recently won against the Bucks, but then they went on to lose against the Cavs, win the next two on the road, lose to the Pistons, and then Pacers. Losing the Pacers, that's got to be a tough one because the Pacers aren't good, and
Yeah,
they lost.
The Pacers are the worst team in the league.
They're one of the worst.
Yeah, poor them. Anyway, yeah, I think there's a chance they go up to the 3 seed, and that gives them a perfect opportunity to get make it to the finals and face the Pistons. Otherwise, they would have to go through them, and I think the Pistons would win that matchup. Um, So if they continue their hot streak, then yes. But I do fear that they're either going to stay where they are or get a little bit worse and allow another team like New York or Boston or even like the Raptors or something
Take a
to
sneak
make
up
it.
and
Also, like
get that.
considering like even without Jason Tatum, the Boston's have been holding number 2 for a lot of the season, holding the top 3. And Jason
Yes.
Tatum's probably, I
Oh
imagine
yeah.
he's going to come back at least by the playoffs
Yes.
if he doesn't come in during the regular season.
Yeah, that kind of feeds into my next one was like do we see Boston being an actual threat in the playoffs if Jason Tatum were to return?
If Jason Tatum were to return, I think they could be more of a threat than Cleveland. Still think OKC and Detroit and the like teams like that, they would still, I think, beat the Celtics 9 times out of 10.
So
So
you
I imagine them making it past a couple rounds, maybe. I don't see them making the finals. I don't
you don't
see
see them
that
make
as a
finals.
possibility.
You don't see them making the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay.
They could.
They could. Okay.
I mean, they absolutely could. I don't think they would win. They wouldn't win. I think whether it be Detroit or New York, something like that, they want to make it to the finals.
I mean, we should give credit to where credit is due. Jaylen Brown, this whole season, while Tatum's been out as like one of the top three players with the torn ACL injury, has absolutely balled out his mind. As you can see, he's averaging about 20. Oh my god, 29.1, fourth highest scoring in the league. averaging 7.1 rebounds on 4.9 assists and shooting 48% from the field. So, I mean, he's definitely carrying the Celtics to somewhere. And where credit is definitely due, I will give him credit that he's been carrying the Celtics roster on his back since Tatum has went.
Yeah, which is surprising to see. It makes me wonder, like, would they maybe even surpass Detroit if Tatum was there the entire season? Which
Alternate reality.
I don't know. They could. I think they would keep their number two. But yeah, despite Jalen and Tatum, I think I still feel like their path ahead is kind of rough. Not like super rough. It, it would be a miracle if they repeat what they did in 2024. I think.
Yes. Because that 2024 was pretty easy for them, I would say. I mean, yes, it's somewhat challenging at the same time, but it was also pretty easy how they kind of got to the finals. Because they had to go through. Who they had to get? They had to go through a Golden State roster that was really injured, and through
I
the
don't know the
East.
the playoff bracket from the top of my head, but
Let me take a look. NBA. Here we go. So, according to this, oops, wrong series. That would have been 24. The 24 season is when they won the title. That's right. I'm trying to go on. Oh, here it is. Is this when Boston won? No. Oh no, it's 22. That's right. No.
are you trying to find the year where Boston won?
Yeah,
That would have been 24.
that would have been
I
24.
have the bracket pulled up right here. That's NFL. Never mind. Okay, now here we go. They Boston had to go through Miami, then Cleveland, then Indiana, then they had to beat Dallas with Luca.
Right. Yeah. There we go.
So I mean,
Right. They played the Mavericks. Yep.
yeah, the I don't know, 2024 Dallas was something. I don't know what Nico Harrison was thinking, but I mean, and they did beat him in five.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big accomplishment. They only lost 3 games throughout the entire playoffs that year.
Surprisingly, yes. That is
Um,
true.
so I don't know. They were a fucking beast back then. I don't know. I know they got out earlier because of Jason Tatum the next year,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. I don't think they're gonna reach that height ever. I don't think they're gonna reach that height. Especially they're gonna need time to readjust back to where Tatum's in a sense.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. But I mean, yeah. So we got. So I would say my prediction: Eastern Conference Finals is if the Pistons can continue their hot streak. I see the Pistons going there, and I see New York. I think New York, as long as they can win their next few games, like the next like games they have for like the next 2 weeks before playoffs hit, I
Yep.
think they can. I think they can make the conference finals and even possibly maybe beat Detroit. I would love to see New York in the finals for the first time in over 30 years. I think that would be amazing. What do you think?
I would enjoy seeing New York too. And I would agree. I think they've been doing pretty well. I think they're gonna probably maintain where they're at right now, and I think they're probably gonna stick with the 3 seed. And
Mm,
I would agree if Tatum comes back during part of the regular season, I think the top three is gonna stay how it's been. And for that reason, I would say Detroit is probably most likely to make the finals, and then behind that, it would probably it would probably be the Knicks, I would say. I just think one side of the bracket's lopsided, and I don't really see any of these other teams in the Eastern Conference pulling an upset. Charlotte, they've been really hot, but I don't think they've been really hot, but I don't think they can make it to the finals. I think they can make the playoffs,
make the playoffs.
although they might get destroyed by Detroit. I don't know. And I don't see the 76ers. They've been kind of cold lately.
Yeah, they're on
Uh,
a three-game win streak as it currently stands, 5-5 the last 10. But they have like you've been saying they've been pretty cooled
none of
off
the
in the
other,
last
yeah,
couple.
none of the other playing teams, I don't think have a chance. Toronto's kind of exceeded my expectations, but I don't know. They're imperfect. I think if they're probably going to keep with the five, I'd imagine. I think Cleveland beats Toronto any day. It's probably, I would agree. It's going to be New York, Detroit, but New York's going to have the tougher path relative to the other side of the bracket, I think.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Toronto's a good team and all, but they are horrible. They're one of the worst teams in the league as it currently stands, of closing out big games where they have the lead in the fourth.
Yeah, they have a
I've
reputation
seen
for
games where
choking.
they've done it. They have been choking more or less recently. So, I mean, yes, don't get me wrong, Toronto's good and everything, but they're still going to have to build, obviously, to make it further down. But yeah, Eastern Conference Finals, Detroit, New York. Who do we see winning out of a best of seven series? If it were to go to a game seven, I would say my money is probably in New York. I just like their roster just slightly better. I think as long as nothing like critical happens to like Cat, Josh Hart, and Mikal Bridges and Jalen Brunson, then I could see them going to the finals.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would disagree. I would still say Detroit. You might say this is me being blinded by just the regular season standings, but I think Cade Cunningham has shown that he's MVP material, and
Mm.
I think him winning it has there's much more of a chance than anyone from New York. Their teams, I mean, both rosters have been very healthy. And again, unless something unforeseen happens, then I think the roster, like Jalen Duren's been like his exceeded my expectations. I'm not sure if he would outdo someone like Cat, but I think he can do his part. It would probably, yeah, I'd take like Detroit in six probably.
Turn six. Okay. Well, we're just gonna have to wait and see. I have New York. I'll have New York and probably I'm gonna say I got New York in seven. I think I can definitely go back and forth in the series for sure. Um, So yeah, we'll see what happens though. I mean, it'll be a great watch. Western Conference now.
Now let's look at the Western Conference.
At the West. So as it currently stands, we got the top five teams being Oklahoma, the defending champs, 46-15. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games, 1 game win streak. Then we got San Antonio, 43-16. They've won all 10 games, their last 10 games, surprisingly, and are on a 11-game win streak. Holy crap!
Wow.
Holy crap! Do we see San Antonio's win streak being broken at some point by anybody in the West?
I'd have to look at their upcoming schedule, although I mean it is probably gonna break in a couple within a week, I'd imagine. Although I'm not gonna count them out. They've been inching closer to the Thunder as the season goes on. I don't really see them overtaking the Thunder in terms of seeding at the end, unless the Thunder like maybe SGA gets asked to sit on the bench again due to injuries or anything unforeseen. I think they've kind of had bad luck in that front. I The Spurs are probably they're probably just gonna really get close to that gap. They're gonna get really close. I still think it would take a miracle for them to overtake in a sense.
Okay, and then we got the Rockets at 37-22, 6-4 their last 10 games, and are on a 1 game losing streak currently. Then we got Denver, followed by Minnesota. So out of this top five teams, who do we think's making the Western Conference Finals? We can automatically probably put OKC in there.
OKC definitely.
Especially even though Shea missed quite some time before the All-Star break and a little bit after,
Mhm.
they're still a powerhouse to be reckoned with for sure.
Yeah, and I
I
mean
mean,
they're probably gonna be more healthy by the time of the playoffs. They have experience. They've won a championship,
yep,
so
the current defending
they know
champs.
what's up.
Yes. I mean, and they even got to even bolster their rotation of guards. They went out to Philly and hit up Philly and said, "Hey, can we get Jared McCain?" And then Philly's like, "Yeah, let's trade Jared McCain to OKC." And when
Yeah,
I
like
saw that go when I saw that one down, I'm like, what are we doing? We're making them better? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, like they needed the draft pick.
Oh yeah, like
They already have like their starting five is already like top notch.
exactly. Like why we get that Sam Presti's a good owner and everything, or GM, but he already has enough picks. He don't need no more. He really don't. And just to trade Jerry McCain like that, is like he could have went to a different contender that didn't need to be OKC. So I kind of frowned it upon that. But now, how to see Jerry McCain playing more or less recently, he looks like he's enjoying actually playing for Oklahoma. Because if you've seen clips of him playing in Philadelphia, he looked oh so depressed. Even when he was coming back from that horrible, I think, what was it, a PCL injury or whatever, the owner of the team was kind of just trashing on him, saying, oh, yeah, we're going to look towards someone else, and, we're not going to even continue building with him, and so forth, so what? And I'm like, really? You're just going to throw him to the curb like that?
Yeah, I mean, I will say I do kind of not like Philadelphia for that. I don't know why they decided to do that, but it was still it was a good move for OKC, that's for sure. I would be happy if I was playing for the number one team in the entire
That's
league. So
true.
I don't blame them.
Very true. I wouldn't complain either.
So I mean, yeah, the Thunder definitely aren't they're much. I wouldn't say they're in a bad spot. They're probably right where they could probably pick it up right where they left off in 2025.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I would call them a lock for the finals.
So we're locking in OKC.
I would call them a lock for the finals.
Okay.
Their rosters, they're they're just unbelievable, and they've proven themselves. As for the other side, I would semi confidently say the Spurs.
Mm.
They've they're number two. They've beaten OKC already multiple times, and they've done a lot. They've beaten many other top teams several times lately, and they've been healthy. And the roster, I mean, I have it pulled up on my screen. I'm gonna look. The roster, I don't think is nearly as pristine as OKC. Like
Mm.
they have holes, but they've shown like Victor Wembanyama, like just because of like how lengthy he is and stuff, he could do a lot. I would say, and I mean, they are this iteration of the team at least isn't really playoff proved. Like they haven't really done much to, I guess, prove themselves in the playoffs, and for that reason, I would say their road is a little bit bumpier. I think they're more of a wild card in that sense, but I think they have some good talent. As for who they would likely face, Houston is an interesting case. It is kind of shocking how they're number three, and it looks like they're teetering on number four because of Denver right there.
Yeah.
And I will say, at the end of the day, I do think the Denver Nuggets will overtake the Rockets, and
Mm.
I think they are going to take the 3 seed
Okay.
because like they have Jokic obviously, which I will say he is likely he's going to miss another game and won't be eligible for MVP, but I mean he's still pulling up MVP numbers and he's getting kind of old, but
Mm. True
he's
that.
getting he's getting
He's
kind of old.
he's currently, let's
He's
see,
like 30,
Jokic,
isn't he like 32 or something?
31.
31, right?
His birthday was the 19th
This
this month.
this is like his like 10th season, I think.
Yeah.
That's the point. So San Antonio, like they got the raw. I'm just pulling up a bunch of rosters just so I could quickly look. Rockets have KD, who is really old, but
He can still
he's
play at
still
an elite
pulling.
level.
He's
Yeah.
still he's still doing. He's still playing,
Doing
doing some
snake
good
things.
numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he still averages 26 a game, which
Well, averages
I
26.
mean, I mean, I think like San Antonio, I think they could beat the Rockets. I think they could also beat Denver. I think they have a good chance. Again, I don't really see. I think Minnesota actually could surprise everyone and make it pretty deep. I
Mm.
have them as a sleeper pick because like
Yeah.
Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards,
I was gonna say
they've been
Minnesota.
doing pretty well. I think they've just gone kind of. in a sense, not unlucky, but um, I think I would call them a sleeper pick. As for the rest of these teams, I hate to say it, I don't think the Lakers are going to make it far, and
No.
I don't really see any of the playoff teams making it past the first round. Like, I'm sorry, even if the Blazers do make it to the playoffs, I think they're gonna get steamrolled by Oklahoma.
So do you at least see them possibly, winning the play-in?
Oh yeah, let me look at the plans. It looks like we're at. I know Portland has like the easiest schedule for the rest of the league. Does that mean they can jump up to the eighth, and beat Golden State? Maybe. I would say yes because Golden State doesn't have Steph Curry. I don't know how much longer Steph Curry's going to be out, but I think
So yeah,
they've been on a
Portland's
cold streak.
schedule, their next few games here are Atlanta, and this is currently coming off their loss against Charlotte. So their next few games are Atlanta, Memphis. Those seem to be easy locks. Houston, that's going to be a pretty tough one. Indiana, I could see us probably winning that. I'll see us winning that one. Charlotte, hopefully we can get our get back. That's what I'm hoping at least.
Yeah, I think they just had just had a matchup today. I think
At like started at like 10 o'clock this morning,
really
so
really early,
really early.
and we lost that. I see.
Yeah,
I mean, one of they're
09-93.
Con Canoopel breaking the 3 point
3-point
record.
record. Man.
You can't call you cannot call that a bad
No,
go around.
Charlotte also just did a really good idea of picking him up in the draft.
Yeah, which I mean, I know we keep kind of straying off, but I think just because of that, I think he's gonna win Rookie of the Year. Like
Mm.
I know Cooper Flag overall is just his stats are better, but Khan's on a better team. He's like breaking history. And he still averages a lot in the other fields, like assists or whatnot, just not nearly as much as Cooper Flag. But that's anyway. Back to I'm gonna go back to the standings. I think if because like the Warriors, they've been on a cold streak. They've lost six of their last 10 games. So for that reason, I think Portland has the chance to. I think Portland has the chance to make it to the eight, which would mean they would face Phoenix.
Hmm.
It would be really sad if the like. I don't know if the Lakers would even make it to the plan. I don't think they will because I know the Suns have been riddled with injuries too. But yeah.
I mean, according to this, Curry will be reevaluated in about 10 days for his knee injury to see if he'll be eligible to play or not.
All right. Well,
We'll see.
maybe he'll be back in 2 weeks.
I
But by then, but that. Oh my God, I'm starting. But by that point, there would only be a month left of the regular season.
Good point. Good point.
We're kind of nearing the end where if people come back, it's not going to make that big of an impact. Which is why I said earlier, like Boston, I don't think their seating's going to change. Tatum does come back in March.
Yes.
But yeah, the Blazers versus the Suns. I don't.
Let me look at their roster real
I
quick.
think the Blazers beat the Suns last week, so they could face the
I could see
Spurs.
us beating the Suns. Yeah.
But yeah, I still think whatever happens, they're not gonna make it past the first round.
No, but if we can at least get Portland basketball a home game this season, that would be great. And possibly we can consider going to one of those playoff games. I mean,
Yeah, which in a
I haven't
sense,
been to a
it's
playoff game in a
almost
long
better
time.
if we keep the 9 seed. That way we do get a home game.
Yeah,
Although personally, my goal as a fan is I want us to make it past the play-in. That's my only goal.
yeah, that's my
Or
goal. Is
because I
we want to
think
make past the
I
play.
mean. Because like I'm looking like the difference between the Clippers and Memphis, it's a 5 game difference. So for that reason, I mean I don't want to jinx it, but I think we're kind of a lock on the play-in,
Okay.
even if it does mean we go down to the 10 seed, which I don't know about where the Clippers like where they're heading. I think they've been average lately. trading Harden hasn't been perfect for them.
Yeah, I mean, the Clippers have been kind of a whole hot mess ever since the whole Chris Paul disaster.
And
I
I don't like the Clippers for that reason.
hate the Clippers for that reason specifically. I mean, and plus they were already in a scandal currently with Kawhi Leonard's contract. And Steve
Okay,
Ballmer's
whatever.
like,
I did not hear about that. I did not hear about the Kawhi Leonard scandal, whatever that could be.
so with that was about they had Kawhi Leonard supposedly pay this pay kept paying him like higher and higher amounts, but not at the same time not that much, to where the owner would go out and make these big moves for the Clippers, because the Clippers right now, who do they have?
You have a lot of
They got John Collins, and they have Bradley Beal. In which
yeah.
Bradley Beal is on a horrible contract. Keep in mind, dude. I think out for the season. Right, he had
He's
season-ending surgery on his hip.
he's getting paid tens of millions to sit on a bench.
Yep. I mean, it's not as bad. I had a friend's mother who kind of was discouraged about the fact, Portland's paying Lillard all this money, but he's sitting out for one full season. And I'm like, well, yes, he's sitting out one full season, but at the same time, he'll come back better than ever next season because he's been working in and out of the facility for this past season.
I mean, he's shown he still got it. He won the 3-point contest.
He won the 3-point contest. That's right.
Don't think that necessarily means he's gonna be like averaging like in the 20s for points,
No.
or let alone even start. No, I mean he probably will start. I think.
I mean, yeah. So like, you got Beal getting paid $5 million. Kawhi's getting paid over $50 million. Jesus. The Clippers in general just need to revamp their whole
Yeah,
roster.
they need to rebuild.
Like, you have Bradley Beal, who is 32. You
Sucks
have
that it
you have
sucks that or OKC, or I guess now the 76ers, they still have the 2026 pick, so not like they can do much this year.
yeah, Kawhi, who's 34. You got Brooke Lopez, who is 37, on the verge of
And he's
retirement
probably gonna retire next season.
next season. And then and Nicholas Batum. Remember great Nicholas Batum in a Blazers jersey? Oh, and those are some
That's a
great
nice
times.
reference.
37. Wow. That's absolutely
It
wild. And
is.
17th season.
That's the unction.
Yep. So yeah, no, they just need to revamp entirely.
They need to. Everyone needs to rebuild and they need to tank. But it seems like the Clippers want to make the play, and that's their goal.
That's their goal. I mean, here's a good question for you. Who do we think later down the road? Because we obviously know that next season, yes, Lillard is coming back. It's projected that he'll come back in October. But who would you say currently, out of this roster, is the face of the franchise at this current moment in time for the Blazers?
Well, here's the thing. I think the obvious answer is Denny Avdia, but
Okay.
and he's been improving a lot lately, and I think he is going to continue to improve. But I think the caveat is, one, he's been injured for a couple months now. He's been having back issues.
Yeah, because of a
Um,
car accident, unfortunately.
his fucking car accident, and like I've noticed, he keeps getting like he sits out for like 2 games and he comes back and he hurts his back again. So I think for the time being, I'm not saying that he's gonna get permanently affected by this, but I think just for his sake, he needs to chill out. Like he'll be better in the off season.
Yeah,
So
a whole bunch of
he's
rehabilitation,
not
all that.
he's not perfect. I don't he does average good numbers, but he's not perfect, and I think he's going to hit a ceiling eventually. I think he's not I don't think he's going to be like all NBA level at
Mm.
least next year.
I mean, he
He's going to
became
hit
an
a
all-star
ceiling.
this year.
He was an all-star this year. And I would say, I mean, that this doesn't have to do with basketball, but also he's Israeli, which that in itself is controversial, and that can mean a multitude of things, where either the NBA wants to push him or get him away. But that's a can of worms that I'm not gonna get into, and it's conflicting reasons. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, like if you've seen when he's been drafted by Washington, his numbers kept slowly climbing up, and then second year with the Blazers, oh my God, he's averaging almost close to 25 a game.
Yeah, I mean, no, the Wizards definitely held him back. But yeah,
Definitely.
I think Denny's gonna hit a ceiling. I think
Okay.
I'm not saying that he's gonna be like a really bad player, but I don't think he's gonna reach like top five in the league level. But anyway, I think the real answer of well, okay, first of all, Damian Lillard, I think will obviously, if he plays well next year, will be the face of the franchise. Just because he's the most popular trailblazer since I would say like Clyde or like Brandon, not yeah, Brandon Roy, I guess.
He's the all-time franchise record, by the way, in points for the Blazers. So just keep
Yeah,
that in
so
mind.
I mean, he's like the Blazer, pretty much. I mean, and that's why he decided to come back after getting waived. He knows he's a Blazer. He enjoys it.
His family lives here. I
He's
mean,
his family lives here.
born and raised here. Yeah.
He's gonna be for as long as he's in the team and he's putting up something. He's gonna be the face of the team. That's my opinion.
Hmm.
As looking to the far future, ignoring Denny, I think probably the best secondary candidate would be Donovan Clingan. Because I mean,
Ooh.
we've
Okay.
shown that he's been breaking out. He's been breaking out for the past like month or so. Part of it is he is cutting the slack for the other members of the team that's injured, but. He's kind of a jack of all trades. He can shoot threes. He averages a lot of rebounds. I think he's pretty high in the league, at least in terms
He's
of
third.
rebounds.
He's third in the league for rebounds so far.
Yeah, so can't count that out. I'm not sure about like his blocks or advanced stats relating to defense, but and I mean he averages 12 a point. I think he's probably gonna improve, and he's only on his second year.
Yeah, true. Seventh overall pick by us.
So my prediction is I think in the immediate future, Lillard is probably when he gets healthy, he's gonna really bring interest back in the Blazers. I
Take a
think they will
backseat
continue.
as take a backseat as like a what you call it, as like a six man on the roster, kind of
Yeah,
mentoring.
he's like I said, as long as he's playing and putting up good numbers, at least like what we'd expect, like double digits, which I think he will get. He's gonna be the immediate face, but when he retires or gets unable to play, Denny will probably be the face of the franchise. And then if he hits the ceiling and if Donovan Clingan continues to improve, which I think he will, then he's going to be the face of the franchise. That's my prediction. I hate to say it, but I don't think Scoot is going to surpass either of those players. I don't think he's going to surpass either of them.
So
He's
then,
already been in the league for 3 years.
right? So do you see Scoot getting traded then at some point in time to help bolster for further assets?
I don't think so. I mean, I
Okay,
guess the
so you
other
think we'll
thing we
keep
need
him?
to consider is we have Tumani Kamara and Shaden Sharp. They've kind of been secondary. Although, well, Shaden's been injured, but
He's
Tumani,
actually so Shane Sharp. He's actually out for 4 to 6 weeks, so he's basically
so
out for the
pretty much
rest
the
of the
rest of
season. Yeah, because of a sprained calf.
the spring
Yep,
calf.
sprained calf. And
Well, I mean,
he did a. This is his what in the league his fourth season in the league. Okay, yeah, averaging 21, 4, and 2 this season on 45% shooting isn't bad whatsoever.
I hope the injury doesn't limit him in any way. I think he'll come back and probably pick up where he left off.
That's what I'm
I don't
thinking.
think he's
Yeah.
going to be miraculously much like crazy better next season. But yeah, I think they could trade Scoot. I don't think they would because obviously Drew Holiday is not gonna last. If anything, they're probably gonna trade him in the offseason. Yeah, I think Drew Holiday, he's not gonna be our starting point guard.
No,
And
I think it's
either they're
traded.
just gonna bite the bullet and just let Scoot start, but he's not gonna be the best player on the team,
Hmm.
or they trade him for someone better to fit whatever we need as a roster by that point.
Right. I mean, I could also see us trading Jeremy Grant just to kind of get rid of his $32 million that we gave him.
We overpaid him like a bitch, but
Yes, we
yeah,
did.
I mean, like he's been putting up some pretty impressive numbers. I don't he
More or
like
less recently, yeah.
averages, and again, that is because he's picking up the slack from Denny and stuff being out, but he's actually been balling, really. Like, even just overall in the season, he's been averaging 19 a game, which is shocking. I think that does let him be a temporary good like glue to hold us together. Does that mean another team would want him and want to take on his contract? I'm not so sure about that because again, I do think part of it is just because he's picking up the slack. If our team was healthy, he wouldn't be averaging this much. So I don't know. I feel like we're kind of forced to be with him until his contract runs out. Whenever that might be. I don't know when it is, but we're probably stuck with him. I think we're probably gonna get rid of Drew. We might trade Scoot, but I think generally we're gonna stop making moves. I think we'll slowly improve. We're not gonna like we might. I mean, I don't know. That's a whole other question. Where are we gonna end up at the end of next year?
Good point.
Hopefully upper plan, or maybe out of the plan. I don't think we're gonna. I don't know. So I feel like we're gonna slow down in the amount of moves we make. We're either gonna trade Scoot and Drew to get a better point guard, or we might trade Jeremy Grant for a good six player. I don't know, something like that.
Definitely. Definitely. I could definitely see that. I mean, we'll
We
see if
need,
we make the plan first, though, for sure.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that treats us.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to one more segment about the NFL. I don't
The
know if
NFL.
you. The NFL. I don't know if you have seen more or less recently that the Dallas Cowboys have officially placed their franchise tag on George Pickens. It comes after, the big season he had in Dallas. They also kind of placed a another tag on him where if a team were to offer him a big contract, the Cowboys could just outright match that. So, wanted to see what your thoughts on that were. If franchise tagging George Pickens was a good idea or not for the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, here's the thing. I couldn't really tell you anything about this because it's the off season. I've kind of stopped following football, and I don't really follow the Cowboys specific. But here's the thing: he's pretty young. I think. I mean, I don't know. I need to look at his stats and stuff, but I think if they just get someone good from that, then yeah. It's a kind of a buzzkill. But I couldn't. I'm sorry, I can't really talk much on that.
That's all right. I mean, the franchise tag's at least worth 28 million, and that would take a big chunk of Dallas's salary cap. I don't know if you've seen though. I know you probably don't pay attention to the offseason in the NFL unless it's something huge. That the NFL sent out a memo, I believe it was about 2 days ago. They sent out a memo of how much the annual salary cap for free agency will be. And this year,
Hmm.
it got doubled from what it was last year. So this year, each team has about $300.1 million to spend in free agency, and that's for each team in the league. Oh my goodness, I could not believe it.
Well, I mean, first of all, just to me, that sounds. I feel like I would disagree with doubling practically the salary cap seems like an issue. Now, I'm not sure if there was like a crisis forming where a bunch of teams just were unable to do anything or they were saddled with extra tax or whatnot. But I really think I feel like teams should really ease in to decisions like that rather than just outright doubling it. And I mean, who knows? Because that just gives all the teams so much leeway to just sign the biggest stars, and it gives players a lot of agency, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's the whole point of a salary cap to prevent super teams from forming, but um, we'll see about that.
I mean, and then you got, and then another person who also got part of the franchise tag was Kyle Pitts, the Falcons. Falcons have had a pretty messy team this year. I mean, do we see
Well,
them? Do we see them? Do we see them keeping Kyle Pitts? Probably, but like my question is, they had the chance. Let's go look at the standings from this previous year. They had the chance to win their division, right? Where are they? Up here. They had a chance to win the division. They're in a pretty weak division in the NFC South. Nope, not the yes NFC South. In the NFC South, but they went 8-9, and with a talented roster with Bijan Robinson and Drake London, you would think, and their defense is also really good. You think they would win it, but no.
No, they just completely
Kind of,
faltered.
they really kind of just shot themselves in the foot down the crap hole. And I mean, and the whole like it was a three-way tie to even get into the playoffs, and Carolina just got thrown in. Like we remember weeks 1 through 7 when Tampa Bay had that hot streak, and then all of a sudden they just went out in a flame of disaster.
Well, I mean, again, I'm not really sure about what Atlanta's been up to, but I think they could probably make some moves at least in the short term to make them maybe a wild card eligible team. I think it's a very close division, but I think Carolina probably has the momentum. But I mean, New Orleans is going to suck. I think the
They're still
Buccaneers will probably
building.
suck.
They're still building with Tyler Shroud and Chris Olave in that offense. It's going to be at least a couple more years before they become a contender, unless they
I
make a big
mean,
splash this offseason.
like I said, I think Atlanta. I think they have the capacity to at least make the wild card, and probably not much else from there. I would imagine. Like that's my prediction.
That's your prediction.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens with the NFC South. But I mean, based off of how some of these teams were, how they did this year, what team that you saw kind of shocked you the most, and you were like, we didn't think they were going to perform that well whatsoever? What team do you think, either in the NFC or the AFC, kind of surprised you the most?
I was kind of shocked by the Patriots a little bit. I knew Drake May was gonna do good, but I didn't think he would bring him to a Super Bowl. Now, obviously, they didn't win, and
Thank
like
God.
I knew coming in Seattle would like as soon as like the first couple weeks was over, I was like, yeah, Seattle is probably
Gonna
gonna
win this.
at least make it to the Super Bowl. But I wasn't really expecting the Patriots to make it all the way to the Super Bowl. Like even by the end of the season, I kind of fell into the talks of like, oh, they had a very easy schedule, which they did. They did have an easy schedule, and that might be part of how they were able to still play relatively easy opponents in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, their
But
only two regular season losses were to the Raiders and the Steelers
yeah, I didn't expect them to
and the
make
Bills.
it. I didn't expect them to make it to the Super Bowl.
No, I
I
didn't
thought
either.
teams like Buffalo or the Broncos and stuff would make it.
Honestly, it would
Also,
have been more.
Jacksonville.
And
Jacksonville's another team.
Jacksonville. Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned Jacksonville. I forgot about Jacksonville. Oh my God, they were so hot going into the playoffs, and then oop, here come the Bills,
Yep.
and the Bills go on to choke it. But Jacksonville, oh my gosh, I did not expect that. Unfortunately,
Yeah. I thought about it while I was talking. I was like, yeah, I know they sucked in 2024.
yeah, because in 24 they averaged, yeah, they did not have a good season in 24. All those
I
losses.
mean, yeah, okay. Now that I think about it, that was the biggest shock. But that was definitely the biggest shock. But I
I believe
still
Liam
found it interesting how the Patriots made it to the playoffs.
Liam Cohen, I mean, was a top candidate for Coach of the Year, but I think they gave it to, was it Ben Johnson or was it Mike Vrabel? I think it was maybe Mike Vrabel. Um, but yeah, I mean, Jacksonville, unfortunately, I knew my Chiefs season kind of ended after I saw that play where, Lawrence takes the snap, but they snapped it low on him, and then he fumbles to the ground, but they didn't call it a fumble. So he just kind of dropped to the ground, grabbed the ball, and the ball was still in play, and then he rushes in for a touchdown. And I'm like, and what was our defense doing? I remember just sitting back, just watching it,
Freaking
and I'm
nothing.
like, come on. Why aren't we doing anything? And then I'm like, yep, that's when, Mahomes could only be on his little wobble wheel for oh so long before it broke. And then, he was out for the rest of the season until as early as they're projecting that he'll come back as early as week 1 next season, but that's very up for debate for sure.
Yeah, I would say the Chiefs, I don't think they're ever going to reach the same heights they did when they won their back to back Super Bowls a couple years ago. And I don't know. I would call this season just a bad season. I don't think it's a telltale sign that they're just gonna suck again for the rest
No.
of the time.
No, I mean, do we see that do we see them making playoffs,
I don't.
next year?
I think they can make moves. Like I think they can learn from their mistakes, and I think they could make the playoffs. I don't. Like I said, I don't think they're ever gonna reach the same heights where they're capable of winning a Super Bowl.
They would have to do something
Or
drastic in order for that to happen.
yeah, or I mean, they could win a Super Bowl. I just don't think they're ever gonna reclaim their dynasty, like where they
Mm,
dominate the league for several seasons.
good point. Good point. I mean, they're
Like they
currently
could win a Super Bowl, I think.
oh, definitely. Definitely. I mean, Mahomes is still playing at a late level before
Yeah, I
even
mean he's still.
pre-injury.
I mean, and he's still pretty young.
So pretty young. Um and whatchamacallit. I mean, we had a pretty tough schedule this season. I mean, we played the Chargers, Eagles, Baltimore before they became their well-known choke artists like they always are. Jacksonville, Detroit, and Buffalo. So yeah, we had a pretty tough. We had like a pretty tough schedule. I would say. I wouldn't say it was more than one of the easier side, but it was pretty tough.
They I think they just need to let Mahomes heal, make some minor moves to better your defense, and I don't know. I think they could pick it back up.
Yeah, I mean, right now the current talk is that Tyreek Hill might come back to Kansas City, but the only concern I have with that is this going to be the same Tyreek Hill that was well known for being really fast and could still play at an elite level, or is this a Tyreek Hill that isn't going to be the same after a gruesome injury like an ACL?
Yeah, I mean, he could. I think he could come back. I would worry about the injuries though.
And I mean, Kelsey considering retirement, I'm I've
Yeah, I
always
was hearing about that.
been in favor of basically saying let him retire. We go out and get another elite tight end and like Kyle Pitts from the Falcons or Michael Mayer from the Raiders. See how we can develop him. Some elite tight end, or even get Cole Kmet from the Bears. Those are just a few names I'm just throwing out there. Just another elite tight end or a tight end that's at least decent to at least replace Kelsey because
Hmm.
Kelsey's he has shown that he has been washed. I mean, he only had this whole season only had 851 receiving yards on 5 touchdowns and 76 targets. So I mean that just goes to show that it's not the same Travis Kelsey that we all know. I mean, and he's 36, so yeah, it's
Yeah.
not the same Travis Kelsey.
Well, I do think he is probably going to retire. Would it be in this off season? Probably. But I would agree. I think they could use the extra space to just try and rebuild another super team, get a really elite tight end and stuff. And I think that would be smart
Yeah,
for them to
I
do.
mean,
They need to kind of build once more around Mahomes because he's not done. I think he will recover well and get them back to maybe having a playoff worthy season.
yeah, definitely for sure. I could definitely see it from what you're saying, and if we can at least get help at the wide receiver position as well, then we could definitely do something pretty
Yeah,
big.
wide
Because
receivers too. Yeah.
our defense has been no issue. I mean, our only concern is trying to retain. I think it was not Ladarius Sneed. It's one of our bigger names before, so he doesn't hit free agency. I'm forgetting his name, but um, we want to try to retain that guy, and then just try to bolster I guess the O line just a little bit more to help out with the protecting Mahomes
Hmm.
because we're losing Jawan Taylor. Jawan Taylor is set to hit free agency, and Kansas City has no intent on re-signing him. I mean, and as much as Jawan Taylor has been somewhat effective for Kansas City, he's also led the league in false starts like the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And I have not been a really big fan of that, so I think it's time to move on from him for sure. A team, though, in my opinion, that really shocked me was the Colts.
The Colts. Yeah.
The Colts had this hot start. They went 7 and what was it? 7-2, and then They lost their last 7 games of the season,
Yeah,
and
that's sad.
yeah,
And really, I mean, a lot could be said about that. I guess Rivers didn't turn out to really do him any favors.
he just went. He just went to get that child's check, did that child welfare check, so he can keep doesn't have to
Yeah,
keep
now
paying it.
if I remember correctly, he was like on the runnings to be the new head coach for what team was it?
Was the Bills?
The Bills,
The
right?
Bills.
Which is pretty funny coming out of retirement just to retire again and be a coach immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it could bring some new interest. I think they would probably end up pretty weak again next year. I would imagine.
I mean, good news for Indianapolis though. They're in the midst in a contract negotiation with Daniel Jones to come back. So that's at least a good outlook for him. But the real question with Daniel Jones is, do we think he's going to play the same elite level that he played at through the first 7 weeks of the season? Yes or no? I would.
I mean, I think he's capable. Generally, I think they have the capacity to do just a little bit better. I think it'll probably adjust itself where they they don't just completely fall off again. Would be my prediction.
I mean, and yeah, like you said, mentioning Philip Rivers just coming in and out, and on this, by the way, being the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks almost in what was that, week 13? Oh man, I
They were
don't
pretty
even
damn
know.
close.
They were that close, and I don't even know how they did it. I really don't. But yeah, though that was a team that definitely surprised me. Going on to disappointing teams, what team do you think was disappointing to you the most throughout the season?
Hmm,
I'll go ahead and say for me it was definitely Baltimore. I thought
that's what I was
Baltimore
gonna say too.
I thought Baltimore was going to go really far, at least make it to the championship game, and maybe bounce out like to the Bills or something. But oh, was I wrong? And here's what I'll blame John Harbaugh for, at least, is why the absolute fuck did you not use Derrick Henry, one of the best running backs who could still play at elite level, even though he's like 30 some odd years old, could still play at an elite level and be one of the best running backs in the league. Why not use him? You guys have an exploding offense for a reason. You should be using him. And they just kept him there, benched him.
We may never know. I guess they seem kind of like a team that's pretty cocky. If anything, like they're like everything will go our way and stuff. But yeah, Baltimore, I think, is definitively the biggest disappointment. I still remember that one kick that would have sent them to the playoffs, just completely missing.
Oh, against the Steelers, yeah.
But
It
against
was,
Steelers, which
yeah. And then
I
Steelers come
mean,
out and clinch the division.
yeah, I mean the Steelers. I think they've shocked me a little bit. I did see them going. They did make it to the playoffs, which I didn't expect. Good job, Aaron Rodgers. But
Do we see Rodgers returning next season?
probably not. I don't think he would. I don't think he would. He kind of ended on us. Well, I mean, it wasn't sour, but he made the playoffs. But I mean, and I mean, he's really really damn old. So I don't think there's really much he could do in the league. He would probably just kind of maybe not even make the playoffs. But anyway,
But I
that's
mean,
what I
yeah,
think.
no, Baltimore. I would like to even argue for Baltimore. Baltimore reminds me a little bit with Seattle's situation last season, where under Mike McDonald's offense, they would only Zach Charbonnet, not use Kenneth Walker. And we know how good Kenneth Walker is now based off of leading them into the Super Bowl. But I mean, all that last season, they didn't use Kenneth Walker. He just sat with his little clipboard, on the bench, and just being the secondary to Zach Charbonnet. Like, don't get me wrong, Zach Charbonnet, before he had his like little knee injury, he could have done something far with it.
Mm.
But I mean, as you could see now, he is most likely going to be the new RB1 for Seattle, and Zach Charbonnet takes the back seat finally. I mean, first running backs to win Super Bowl MVP since Terrell Davis in 1998. That tells you something.
It is a big sign for sure. I will say, I'll throw out one more candidate for disappointment, just to differ from you. I would say I was disappointed by the Chiefs. I was definitely not expecting them to miss the playoffs. I wasn't expecting them to win a Super Bowl because the 2025 one was kind of disappointing, but them ending negative, which was definitely a complete shock to me. I thought they could just pick it back up, I thought they could pick it back up, but it's not even like it was injuries because Mahomes got injured at the end. It just they just completely it was a sustained choke, really.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, now that you mention it, I'll throw out another one. I would say Buffalo. Buffalo, ever since getting bounced out of the playoffs, I think it was by the Broncos, they've just been an absolute a full tear down. Like they're cleaning. They're not as bad as Miami, where Miami is absolutely just cleaning house. As you've seen, they've waived Tyreek Hill. They've waived they're in the midst of possibly waiving Tua, but his contract's really complicated. So that's something on its own that they have to figure out. And cut a couple more key guys. So in Miami, they're definitely cleaning something up to make something big happen this offseason. But no, Buffalo, going back to Buffalo, I was like, for sure, but Buffalo all this time was my Super Bowl pick. I thought they were going to get the Super Bowl. But then all of a sudden, that's when, Josh Allen started playing horrible. That's when Tyler Bass started playing like crap, and so forth and so on.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call Buffalo one of my biggest disappointments. I knew they would be good. I thought their future was bright. Josh Allen was definitely a good asset for them. I did not see them really going all the way to the Super Bowl, but what I did, and I did see them making the playoffs. I will say I was disappointed by the fact that they couldn't beat Denver because I was expecting an AFC show off. I guess I was expecting a completely different slate of the AFC, but I mean Buffalo's been a minor disappointment for me, I would say.
Minor. I mean, their ownership's kind of confusing. On another hand, like you fire Sean McDermott, who is well known and can lead you to the playoffs, and has been a Coach of the Year candidate for like the last probably I believe 2 years in a row. They just go up and fire him, and then it took them a long time for their search. I remember listening to First Take and them mentioning like, oh, Philip Rivers is in the conversation be head coaching for the Buffalo Bills, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. I would have pissed myself laughing if that reality were to happen if he was hired as Buffalo's head coach. But then
Hmm.
in the end, they went with Joe Brady, which offensive mind, I could see why they would want to go with Joe Brady because he was under McDermott, but it's a new change of course, I guess. And I mean, with Buffalo, not just their ownership being in all shambles, I feel like their defense also needs to be reshuffled a little bit.
Yeah, I mean they got a little bit of rebuilding to do. I would still say they I still think they could make a big move to the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what big move would that be? That's to be determined.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Again, I
yeah,
mean the football off season is a load of what ifs and questions on like what every team needs to do. I will say I am kind of beyond a lot of it, but I I'll be excited to follow it.
definitely. I mean, and I'll give credit where credit is due for two teams that I was impressed. I'm going to say Chicago. I didn't think
Oh,
Chicago was very
absolutely
good.
Chicago.
Caleb Caleb Williams. Oh my god. That brother can throw the ball 30 some odd yards back, and then all of a sudden it's a freaking miracle catch, and then you're on to a championship game. Or not championship game, but divisional run. And I'm like, oh my god. I mean, just an absolute great season for Chicago. Do we think Chicago will continue this, not I wouldn't say miracle season, but I guess improvement of Caleb Williams where he'll still just kind of keep elevating his game and, starting to slowly develop more
Hmm.
of Luther Burke.
Well, I mean, still a lot to watch out. We're still very early in the off season. Obviously, we still got like 7 months until football backs is back on. But I'll be watching it. We'll be watching it closely.
That's true. Definitely. I know Chicago I was impressed with, and I'll even throw your team in there, the 49ers. 49ers dealt with,
Yeah.
had another season where they dealt with their injuries, and oh, Kyle Shanahan did the best he could, honestly. Christian McCaffrey still put up is still 1,000-yard
Yeah, I
rusher,
mean,
so that's cool.
I could say this because obviously I follow 49ers news more closely. But I will say I am very shocked that they were able to make it like so far in the playoffs. Again, I would have my dreams were bigger for what they could have done, but they beat the Eagles in the playoffs. It's very incredible. They managed to get a really good record in a division where there's so many heavy hitters. And I mean, obviously George Kittle got injured, so it's not like the problem's gonna get solved. But I don't know. I think we did a we they surpassed my expectations in a sense. They could have definitely done way worse.
Yeah, that's very, very, very true. Do we? Who do we think? Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Like based off of this season alone, I feel like a team that could make it to the Super Bowl would definitely be Seattle again. I could see them making it. I could see the Rams as well. The Rams also was a team I was impressed with. Did not think that Devontae Adams could still play like that with Puka Nakua. So I could see those two. I possibly could see Philly because they finally fired Kevin Patullo, but at the same time, Jalen Hurts is a big what if for me. It's going to be a big, Jalen Hurts has to take a big leap again to get the team over the hump again, I would say, in order to make the playoffs again or like make the Super Bowl. So I don't know. That they're a big what if for me at the moment. Denver, I could see them making it because they were just that
Yeah.
close to making it if the foot injury were not to happen to Bo Nix. So we'll see about that. And honestly, I'm comfortable in saying that the Patriots
Yeah,
don't
I
make it
mean,
back.
I would really agree. I think the off season's gonna have to do with it, and I think just logically, I would look at the top teams in the league. I mean, it's not really much
At the
more
time, yeah.
I could say about that. It would be difficult, I think, for the Seahawks to double it back. Obviously, I think the Patriots can learn a lot and win the Super Bowl next year. And I would say teams like the Bears or the Broncos or heck even the Bills, stuff like that, I think they have a good chance of making it too.
Do we think that Baltimore could possibly turn it around and maybe make it
I
there?
don't. I don't think they could. I think it's clear that they faltered a lot from expectation, and I fear that that's gonna be a total momentum shift where they can't fully reclaim or win a Super Bowl with their team. I just don't. I don't think they have the momentum to do that.
Yeah. I mean, as it currently stands, a bunch of teams are just getting ready to do their kind of big thing. I mean, there's free agency right here. Another big thing, is do we think? Not do we think? I mean, the current conversation with Atlanta, dial it back just down to Atlanta for 1 second. Atlanta has said that they're going to release Kirk Cousins ahead of the new season year to free agency and look in a new direction of a different quarterback. Whether I'm wondering, are they going to stick with Michael Penix Jr. or are they just going to go into a completely different direction and try to sign one of his free agent quarterbacks?
They'll probably.
And
I
I
would
just wonder.
imagine they would stick with him. I think they certainly have proved that they can. Considering their standings, they have room to move forward. I suppose. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. And I mean, what's your idea or what's your ideal thing of how excited are you, would you say, about the city of Portland itself get a
Oh,
women's basketball
I'm
team
hyped.
back, the
Obviously,
Portland Fire?
I definitely would come to support them. Again, I have a little bit of concern of what that means for the WNBA as a whole because I know they aren't profitable, and I know
Mm,
there's
They're
they've been
adding two new
striking
teams.
and stuff. But if we're able to sustain it, I think I would really enjoy it.
I mean, I've whatchamacallit, I've seen where I've actually read reports recently off of ESPN where they're in the midst of actually agreeing to a new bargaining deal so that the strike would end and so that the expansion draft for just not just Portland but also Toronto will also being underway. I'm curious to see who we would draft into Portland. I would be a big fan of getting the University of Oregon alumni
That'd be
Sabrina
pretty cool.
Ionescu from the New York Liberty, because New York's already stacked as is. Don't get me wrong, but if she came home to Portland, she's in her late 20s. She's 28, but she could still play at an elite level. I hope that she does make her way to Portland, as I feel like she would be definitely a good starter piece to build around off of, and then we just go through the drafts, and then so forth, so on, and build around a centerpiece like that.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not too poised on specific NBA what WNBA matters.
Stuff.
Like I said, I think the whole point of this podcast is it's really just me opening up windows into me learning. But I would again, I think just first speaking as personally, I think having a team in Portland would definitely bring more eyes to the WNBA. I think there should be more eyes on the WNBA. But yeah, especially having some UL alumni, have some people in the area join, that would bring a lot of good press, I think.
I mean, it's fair to argue as well that Caitlin Clark, is basically the
Absolutely.
face of the WNBA. She definitely has generated a lot of revenue to get a bunch of eyes, and the ticket prices be going up to go to her games. Like I even saw like the Portland Fire are set to play the Indiana Fever, and I saw that the tickets were going for like $500, and
Insane.
I'm like, I know, and I'm like, that's just Caitlin Clark alone. That's how much of an effect Caitlin Clark has on not just the WNBA as a whole, but women's sports in general. Because I know for a very long time women's basketball wasn't viewed as highly as men's basketball.
Yeah, I mean, and I know Caitlin Clark has brought in viewership to the WNBA by extra like accounts of dozens of percentage points for the WNBA, and I mean, I think the Portland Fire eventually could get someone like that. Really, and I mean, the way expansions go, our team's probably going to struggle for a fair bit. Although, I mean, I'm not sure how much bigger of an effect that would have in a smaller league like the WNBA, but uh, we can we can get our own stars, I suppose.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, definitely. No, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I'm still currently looking actually at tickets for a WNBA game for me and my
I
grandma to even go to, because I pitched her the idea and she's like, "Yeah, why not?
I need
It
to look
sounds
on my own.
amazing." Yeah, I would suggest doing it. And then one more topic before we get out of here. I know that. Have you been watching the Winter
Have been
Olympics at all,
watching.
or
I
had you
have been
watched it at
watching the Winter
all?
Olympics,
Okay,
and I have seen clips of the U.S. ice hockey game and I'm sure that's where you're going with this, where we won, where we took gold from Canada for the first time since 1980. And I will say, I'm quite proud of the U.S. men's team for doing that. I think it's good. Always winning such a big thing is good. Things could be said about what that means for the country and also the stuff concerning what the phone call was Donald Trump. But again, that's politics. But for the sport itself, I think that would bring interest back into hockey. And again, hockey isn't really a sport that I follow, but
yeah, me either.
if they prove that American hockey players are the best in the world, I think that would bring more eyes onto ice hockey. Really, I feel like I'm saying a lot of low tier revelations, but that's the first.
Yeah, but no, I understand. No, I remember turning my TV on, watching that hockey game, and we were down 2-1, and I saw that we just made this like absolute miracle comeback. Shot one goal. I'm like, okay, tie game. This can go into overtime. And then all of a sudden, here comes Jack Hughes. And the miracle way, obviously, and then just shot the puck in the goal, and then
Yeah,
like,
I
oh,
mean,
USA won.
incredible
How nice.
clutch play from our players right there.
Definitely.
And I mean, like, I was rooting for the team a lot. I don't really know what else to say about this, but
I mean, don't get me wrong, Canada had a great hockey team and everything, but there was kind of also some scandal for them following the whole curling
I
incident
saw that. I'm like,
where it happened.
I mean, in the Winter Olympics, I definitely haven't followed as much as, let's say, the Summer Olympics, but
Yeah, that's fair.
good to see the U.S. making up some ground, because I know we're not particularly strong at Winter Olympics anyway.
Well, this year we
Oh
definitely
yeah,
showed
I
our stride,
mean,
I would
compared to
say.
other Winter Olympics of the past, definitely.
I mean, like another great figure that took gold for the United States was Alyssa Liu. In figure skating, had great like two great performances, and I think she won two gold
Yeah, it was
medals
two
or
gold
maybe
medals.
one. Yeah, so great news, great stuff for her, and I mean just the United States in general. I'm curious to see where the United States will land in the
Yeah, and
summer.
especially since it's being hosted at home,
I mean,
which, it was
yeah,
funny
in
because
Los
I was thinking
Angeles,
about this the other day.
sure.
I was like, huh, I think it would be a big bucket list item for me to go to an event. And I was like, oh, which one should I go to? Or like
Olympics.
any Olympic event, because I'd imagine it's pretty expensive to go to the Olympics, whatever event you end up going to.
Oh yeah, I would assume so. I mean, not just the Olympics, but also
Oh yeah, and the FIFA World
FIFA's
Cup's
around the
happening
corner this
this
year.
year.
What's happening this year? And there's a couple games happening in Los Angeles. There's also a couple games actually happening in
Seattle.
Seattle. Fact, might actually go up there and watch a couple. And yeah, I mean, it'd be funny enough. I'd be like, "Hey Tyler, you should totally take us to these soccer games
We
so
could
we can watch
absolutely
them."
bribe Tyler. I bet, although I bet even the nosebleeds of a FIFA World Cup game are probably far more expensive than like like the front section of a everyday basketball game.
That's true. Yeah, you have a good point. I mean, last time I looked at ticket prices for the ones they were hosting in Seattle, they were going for like
Yeah,
close to
Jesus.
$40. I don't think that's been
I mean,
risen since then, but
I
yeah,
mean,
it's
it's
definitely
affordable.
yeah, it's affordable for
Well,
sure.
I mean, okay, 2026 is going to be a big year for sports. That's for sure. It's already been a big year.
No, yes, definitely. It's definitely been a big year. Definitely. I mean, we're on the verge of crowning a new NBA champion. Seahawks won the
We're getting
Super
into an
Bowl.
exciting time.
Oh yes, definitely, definitely for sure. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
thanks
no
for
problem.
coming on, Oliver. No, look, I'm looking forward to hopefully continuing the next episode of this wonderful project that we have just started. And it was definitely nice and refreshing to definitely get another person's point of view, minus myself, on how I
Yeah,
would view sports
I'm
for
sure it
sure.
was, and I'm glad to be on here, and I hope to be back next week or whenever it might be for an episode 2.
Yes, to
TBT.
be determined when episode two,
We will keep
TBD for
everyone
number
posted.
two. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward. I will keep everyone posted. Yes, make sure to follow on Instagram and Twitter. I refuse to call it X, unfortunately. At the OD Sportscast, that name might be changed around, but that's the name I'm going with at the moment.
And
I
I'm
am your
Oliver.
host, Dak, and we are signing
Goodbye.
off. Thank you for
Have a good day,
listening.
everyone.
Goodbye.